think just tips on learning English, right? I think the two golden rules that I always use when I learn English. One is like don't worry too much about knowing the language. Worry about using the language, which means that don't worry about spelling. Don't worry too much about pronunciation. As long as you can communicate, it's fine. And I think the one thing that Thai people are most scared of is accents. And I tell you right now, there's no correct accent. English is spoken by every country in the world. Even in the UK, there are like 30 different accents. So there's no like British accent to say.
Yes.
So don't worry about that. And then I think number two is try and find like things that you like and then intertwine English into it. So for example, I grew up watching football. So I just watch English commentary. If you play video games, maybe do the English version of it. If you enjoy watching movies, watch it in English or at least English subtitles. So then it doesn't feel like you're forced to learn English. It just comes a bit more natural.
You learn because you want to learn.
Yeah, and it's just natural to your everyday.
Talk to TNA, please. He does. Confidence on the rise. By the way, Singaporean alumni, so he speaks English perfectly. In terms of your first question, you were asking about concession. I would go to a different C, and that's consensus building. You know, a part of a constitutional monarchy in a parliamentary system where there's a coalition involved, it distills the systematic competition before the election results, as well as collaboration after the collection results in order for you to form a coalition. And that's about obtain alignment. And sometimes, you know, you have to be able to look at each other and find a way to move forward, consensus building in order for you to achieve that critical steps for progress, critical steps to reach a larger goal. So that's a kind of sacrifice that you have to balance between the principle of winning at the election as well as, you know, the kind of sacrifice you have to make after the election. But to be clear and to be very sure that that kind of sacrifice would not mean a sacrifice towards what we have promised the voters as well as the core values of our party as well.